After my cataract surgery, I couldn't drive for weeks. My daughter-in-law refused to take me to appointments, saying she was too busy. But when she found a taxi receipt I left on the table, she had no idea the driver was actually. I'm 67. My name's Barbara, and I live in Glendale, Arizona. My husband passed 8 years ago. It took me a long time to adjust. We had this home together for over 30 years. After he died, the house felt too quiet, too still. I told my son Mike he and his wife could move in to help with expenses, and so I wouldn't be alone. At first, it worked. Mike's a paramedic, and his schedule is long and grueling. I figured having them here would help us all. He could save on rent, and I'd have company. But it didn't take long for things to change. His wife, Tricia, never liked me. She made it obvious. She rarely spoke to me unless she needed something. Wouldn't make eye contact. Wouldn't eat with me. If I walked into a room, she'd walk out. Still, I tried to be nice. I cooked, I cleaned, I kept to my space. But kindness only goes so far with someone who thinks you're a burden. Then came the cataract surgery. Both eyes, one after the other, scheduled 3 weeks apart. My vision was blurry, and I wasn't allowed to drive for a while, not just because of the surgery, but because I had pressure issues in one eye that made it risky. I explained all this. I showed her the doctor's instructions. I told her it was temporary, just a few weeks. She looked at me like I was asking for a kidney. I can't just drop everything to drive you around, Barbara. I have things to do. I asked, what things? She just scoffed. My life isn't about you. Figure something out. Mike was working 12-hour shifts, sometimes overnights. He said, Mom, I'll take you if I can, but you know how it is. I knew. I didn't want to be a burden. So I called a local car service. Now, here's where the story starts to turn. The guy I called? Gerald. We went to high school together. He retired from the police force 5 years ago and started driving people part-time, mostly seniors who needed help getting to doctor's appointments. When I called, he said, Don't be silly, I'll take you.
No chatty.
I told him I'd pay him what I could, he agreed. He's the one who mentioned the dash cam. It's just standard, he told me. Had one incident a year back with some lady accusing me of taking her purse. Caught the whole thing on tape. He pointed to the little device on the dash. It records front and back, everything inside the car and outside too. I nodded and didn't think much of it. Then, about 2 weeks into our rides, Gerald asked me something odd. Do you know a guy drives a silver Dodge Challenger? Kinda bulky guy, shaved head. I said no. He said, Well, he's been coming and going from your house. Every time I drop you off for your appointments, he shows up within 10 minutes. Then he's gone before we get back. I felt something cold crawl up my spine. Tricia never mentioned anyone coming by. But Gerald wasn't guessing, he had the footage. We sat in his garage after one of my follow-up appointments and watched it together. Sure enough, there was my house. Time-stamped. She waited until we pulled away. 10 minutes later, the same guy pulled into the driveway. Walked right in through the side door. The one connected to my laundry room. The one she always kept unlocked for air. We kept watching. This didn't happen just once. It happened 5 times in a row. My hands were shaking. Gerald said, You want me to keep recording? I nodded.
Yes.
And I want a copy of everything. She thought I couldn't see. She thought I was weak. But I wasn't blind, I was getting my sight back. And I was seeing everything I had missed for too long. Now I knew the truth. But I wasn't going to confront her yet. I wanted more. I wanted to be sure. So I started testing her. I left a fake receipt from the ride on the kitchen table. She found it and couldn't resist. You paid that much for a ride? You're a damn fool, she said, laughing like I was some joke. I just smiled. Guess I'll just have to tighten my belt. Meanwhile, Gerald and I started tracking the guy's plate. We noted the times he came, how long he stayed, what door he used. We saw her meet him outside once, in a bathrobe. I didn't sleep much those nights. I'd lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long this had gone on, wondering what Mike would say if he knew. But most of all, I felt anger, slow, burning, ice-cold anger.
She used me.
She humiliated me. She made me feel like a burden. But I wasn't done. I had more to learn and more to take back. I started acting a little slower around the house. More confused. Asked Trisha to repeat herself more often. Sometimes I'd forget where I left something. She started getting bolder. I think she saw it as weakness. She started muttering things under her breath when I was near, stuff like, "Useless old woman," or "This house should have been ours by now." I acted like I didn't hear it, but I wrote every word down in a little notebook I kept hidden under my mattress. One afternoon, while Mike was at work and Trisha thought I was asleep upstairs, I heard her on the phone. I recognized the voice. Same guy from the videos. "No, she's still here," she whispered. "Soon, though. Sooner than you think."
Soon for what?
That's when I knew this wasn't just about cheating. She had a plan, and I had to move fast. Gerald and I kept collecting video. 7, 8, 9 visits. Sometimes midday, sometimes late at night when Mike was on an overnight shift. Same guy every time. I started calling places to see what I could legally do. I called my lawyer. Hadn't spoken to him since my husband died. I asked about my will, the house, my power of attorney. He told me the truth. If something happened to me, Mike would inherit everything. And because they were married, she'd be entitled to half. Half of my house. Half of everything I built. After treating me like garbage, I asked him to help me rewrite my will. We drafted something airtight. Everything would go to Mike, but in a trust. The trust would exclude Trisha from having access to a cent. The house would pass directly to my grandson, Jason, when he turned 21. And if anything suspicious happened to me, Gerald had everything saved. Video, photos, timestamps, and we backed it all up on a private drive stored at my lawyer's office. That same week, Trisha started making comments about elder care facilities. "You know," she said one morning while stirring her coffee, "a woman your age might be safer in a place with nurses. You could fall." I didn't even blink. "That's so," I said. She smiled. "Just a thought." That night, I installed a camera in my bedroom. And another one in the hallway. I told Mike I wasn't feeling well lately. Said I might need more rest. He was worried. He didn't suspect anything yet. But I could see the weight of his job and his marriage wearing on him. I didn't want to blow things up until I had everything in place. Then one night, I heard a strange sound at the back door. It was 11:30 p.m. I crept down the hallway and peeked out the window. It was him. He wasn't knocking. He had a key. He let himself in. He had a key. That hit me harder than anything else. It meant she gave it to him. It meant this man, this stranger, had been walking into my home like it was his. Like he belonged there more than I did. I stayed hidden in the shadows of the hallway. He went straight to the kitchen. Opened the fridge. Poured himself orange juice from the bottle. I watched him from behind the corner. He looked comfortable. Too comfortable. Then Trisha came down the stairs, barefoot, wearing one of Mike's shirts. She kissed him, full on the mouth. I felt sick. I crept back up the stairs and shut myself in my room. The next day, Gerald and I reviewed the hallway footage. It caught the entire thing. Him entering, her meeting him, the kiss, her whispering, "Not much longer." Gerald leaned back in his chair. "She's not just cheating, Barbara.
She's planning something.
You need to be careful." I knew he was right. But I didn't want to leave. This was my house. My name on the deed. My memories in every wall. That afternoon, I checked the hidden camera in my bedroom. There was something new. The night before, after I went back to bed, Trisha came into my room. She stood there, watched me sleep. She didn't say a word. Then she opened my nightstand drawer, looked inside, then walked out. That drawer had my medication. I counted the pills. 2 were missing. I called my doctor. Asked for a refill early, said I dropped the bottle. I didn't know what she planned to do with them, but I wasn't going to find out the hard way. I copied the footage, sent it to my lawyer. Then I did something that surprised even me. I invited Trisha to lunch. She was skeptical but agreed. We went to a quiet cafe. I told her I appreciated her help around the house, and I wanted to talk about the future. She smiled, too wide, and nodded like she was already imagining picking out furniture for her new living room. I asked her if she had any plans for her and Mike. You two ever think about moving out once Jason's older? She shook her head. Why would we? You'll need us more as you age. Mike wants to take care of you. Her eyes didn't match her words. Then I said, real calm, you know, I had the locks changed yesterday. She blinked. Oh, I added, and I started checking my medications. 1 or 2 pills went missing the other night. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Her face turned pale. I didn't say anything else, just smiled and paid the bill. When we got home, she slammed the door and stormed upstairs. I heard her packing something. She still thought I was bluffing, but I wasn't. I had the keys, the video, the will,
The trust.
I had one last thing to set in motion. I just needed to wait until Mike was home. That night, Mike got home around 8.
He looked exhausted.
He dropped his keys in the bowl by the door and rubbed his face like the weight of the whole world was on him. I sat him down.
We need to talk, I said.
He tensed. What's wrong? Are you okay?
I've fine.
But you're not. And you haven't been for a long time. He looked confused, defensive, even a little scared. I'd never spoken to him like that before. I told him everything, slowly, calmly, letting it all come out. I told him it was about the car rides, about Gerald, about the dash cam, about the man with the shaved head,
About the keys.
about what I saw on the hallway camera, about the missing pills. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just laid the truth down in front of him like bricks. He stared at the floor for a long time. Then he said, "Show me." I did. We sat side by side in Gerald's garage that night and watched every clip, every kiss, every quiet entrance, every smirk, every betrayal. Mike didn't say a word. He just kept clenching his jaw tighter and tighter. His hands were shaking. She was trying to get rid of you, he finally said, almost a whisper. She was trying to make it look like you were losing it. I nodded. She wasn't just having an affair, Mike. She was replacing me. In this house. In your life. And she would have taken everything. He sat back in the chair and let out a long breath. I knew something was off. I didn't want to believe it. She's packing, I said. She knows I'm onto her. But she doesn't know you know. Mike stood up.
She's not leaving.
Not yet. I asked him what he meant. He looked at me, steady, clear, like I hadn't seen him look in years. She's going to hear the truth. From me. Would you like me to continue right into the final chapter, ending where revenge and consequences hit hard? You said, next with satisfying ending, ChatGPT said. Here is the final chapter, ending with a full, dramatic, and emotionally satisfying conclusion. Every thread is tied, and revenge is delivered with clarity and weight. Mike walked into the house without hesitation. I followed behind him, silent. I stayed in the hallway while he went upstairs. I heard him open the bedroom door. Then his voice, quiet but firm. Pack everything. You're leaving tonight. Trisha tried to play dumb. What are you talking about? I haven't, he cut her off. I've seen the videos. I know about him.
I know what you said.
I know about the pills. There was a pause. Then I heard her voice twist into something sharp and ugly. You believe her? She's crazy, Mike. She's been acting paranoid for months. He didn't respond. I heard a thud, a suitcase hitting the floor. Then heavy footsteps as she came down the stairs with her bag, her face red and wild. She saw me standing at the bottom of the stairs. This is what you wanted, huh? She spat. You think he's gonna pick you over his wife? I didn't flinch. I just said, he's not picking. He's waking up. She stormed past me. No apology. No shame. Just pure, bitter fury. Mike followed her to the front door. You'll get divorce papers by the end of the week, he said flatly. Don't come back. Don't call. Don't talk to my mother. Don't talk to my son. You're done. And just like that, she was gone. It wasn't the end of it, though. A week later, Mike filed for divorce and submitted the dash cam footage, hallway recordings, and Gerald's written statements to his lawyer. The video of her entering my bedroom and going through my things was enough to make sure she wouldn't get a dime more than the bare legal minimum. Arizona might be a community property state, but you can't walk away clean after what she did. She tried to fight it, claimed elder abuse on my part, said I manipulated Mike, even tried to say Gerald was stalking her. But she had no proof.
And we had plenty.
Her boyfriend? He disappeared as soon as her name hit the legal filings. I heard she tried to move in with him after Mike kicked her out. He blocked her number. Mike and I stayed in the house. We spent the next few months slowly reclaiming it, painting over old walls, donating furniture she insisted on buying, clearing out every trace of her. My grandson, Jason, started spending more time with me again. I told him the truth when he was ready. Your dad and I took care of it, I said. We made sure she can't hurt us again. And I meant it. I updated my will again. Left everything, to Jason in full, no trust, no conditions.
I told Mike why.
You believed me. You stood up. You didn't make excuses. That's worth more than anything I could leave behind. Mike cried. First time I'd seen him do that since his dad's funeral. It took a long time to feel peace again. But every time I look out the front window and I don't see that Dodge Challenger pulling up, I feel a little lighter. She thought I was blind. She didn't know I was just waiting to see everything clearly. And once I did, I made damn sure she lost it all.